first chance to become a UN military observer. I was still a captain by rank, and the Air Force commander then, late General Washira, wanted the most hardworking air crew, two of the most hardworking air crew in the Air Force. I don't know how that will look in your story, but interestingly, two names came up, Onyango and myself. So I feel good about it. I had opportunity to serve in the UN mission in Kuwait.
Kuwait.
You remember, it's called UNICOM, the United Nations mission in Iraq and Kuwait. So it was also another very traumatizing experience.
Tell us about it.
Because it is in the middle of the desert. The oil wells, you remember the 800 oil wells that were burning, they were still burning. We went to Kuwait City when it was still rubble with the oil wells burning. So as you walk, you'll find spots of oil on you because of the smoke and related. Then, of course, everywhere you can go without being cleared of debris, the mines, the water, and so on. So we were deployed in the desert, very harsh condition, which was all exciting because, it's new things and you are there. Again, I was valued even in that team because of certain skills I had. But what was traumatizing is how the Iraqis, they will walk in the desert and they get blown by mines. So the legs, the mine will blow the lower part of the leg, the feet now. Now over time, and it's just 45 minutes to an hour. So a person is brought to our for example, our observation post, where the UN teams are. We were along the border. It's brought for help, maybe UN helicopter or some kind of. That is if the sandstorm is not there. They will be brought. The first few minutes, this individual will be alive and well and in pain, but explaining. Then it moves on. At 30th minute, he's already losing consciousness. By 45, gone. So I witnessed a lot of that happening, which was a bad experience actually, because if you don't get this person to hospital fast, which was not the case most of the time, so chances are that the individual will lose life. So I had fun, also deployed across several sectors. We had sectors 1, 2, and 3. The third one being close to Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait border, that triangle. It was very much known for what is called the sheep market, but actually there were no sheep sold. It was whiskey and arms.
Oh.
But it used to be called the sheep market, But I was never deployed in that particular. So generally enjoyed the mission. At about our 10th month, all missions, UN missions, active UN missions, were asked to contribute staff to go and do reconnaissance for the deployment of the UN mission in former Republic of Yugoslavia. It's called the UNPROFOR. I think UN Protection Force or something. So I was deployed in northern Serbia at the border with the Croatia. And myself, a Ghanaian.
This is immediately from
While
Kuwait.
still at Kuwait. I'm on the strength of Kuwait.
Okay.
But active missions were asked to second staff for these new missions to do reconnaissance in preparation for deployment of the troops. Even Kenyans ended up sending a battalion and so on, a protection force. So we were the ones who did wrecking and sighting for all this across the former Yugoslavia. So my sector with the 3 or 4 of us was that particular basin of northern Serbia. Stayed there for just over a month.
Yes.
Finished the reconnaissance, dropped our report at the mission, that time our mission headquarters in Belgrade, and went back to Kuwait again for my mission. But since then, when I was a Lieutenant Colonel and at the Staff College, Defense Staff College, Karen, I was the subject sponsor of the field study of peace support operations. Peacekeeping is one of those operations. And because of involvement, I got exposure, like joint training sessions on these matters abroad. I was also lucky to have trained as an observer in Canada and a few other places. The UN identified me as a UN certified trainer for peace missions. So I became now a UN trainer. So I used to train for them at the IOLO Center in Brindisi, a 3-week course. The missions of Sierra Leone, I will train the officers before they deploy for a month and a half. That also has its own story, because it was just days after that air crash, Kenya Airways air crash off Abuja, and there was a coup in, you know what I mean, eh?
Yes.
In that space. I was moving about that same area. But then I trained also before deployment of the UN mission in Eritrea, Ethiopia, for a month and a half. So generally many opportunities to train for working very closely with the UN Training and Evaluation Service at New York. This is like a branch within the Department of Peacekeeping Operations in New York. So when I sold the idea to start the Peace Support Training Center here in Karen, I already had the network to make it work. You see what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So I could very easily call on the UN and say, can you hold a training of trainer course here, so that we are known, so that we are felt, you know what I mean?
Yes. Yes.
So it was quite easy, and with the goodwill of the senior leadership at Defense Headquarters, I was able to move very fast, and in many ways contributed to peace missions in that manner.